Yes sir, God is good. Stay strapped for when you in the hood. Alright, let's check it out, guys. Thanks for tuning in on my channel, Shots with Jay. Today we're going to be going over the PX9 Gen 3. So, this is from a Turkish company called Tisas. But they did go ahead and go by a different name before with the Gen 1 and Gen 2. And you know, if I'm mistaken, you guys can let me know, right? But for the Gen 1 and Gen 2 Tisas, they went by Zigana. This time, they just go by Tisas without the Zigana. At least that's what it seems like on the box. And I don't see Zigana anywhere here on the slide, the frame, anything like that. So the PX9 Generation 3, right? What are some differences from this one over the other one? Well, there's a lot, right? But to start off, right, some of the biggest changes they did was the trigger. This trigger is honestly really good, and it doesn't need to be switched out for any type of modification, improvement, anything like that. It's ready to go, and it's badass right out of the box. And I do mean that, right? And something about the PX9 Gen 3, right? Something that I really like, and it's usually also something you get with higher priced firearms in different companies, is that it is a cold hammer forged barrel. It is a good barrel, and they don't sell them for that much on their website. You can go ahead and get them online real cheap, and they're really good quality, right? For me, they're pretty accurate. This thing is on point, especially with the sights it comes with. So it does come with some fiber optic sights. It actually comes with the green one in the front, but I swapped that out for a red one, which they do include in the box. They include different colors, you know, red, green, and different variations like that. In addition, right, this grip texture, it's awesome. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to put a sleeve on it, any tape or anything like that, right? This is just, it really wraps around your hand like if it's meant to. And in addition from that, it does come with over 27 different grip configurations, which is pretty unheard of. You don't really get that with any other company. Now, as for grip texture, everybody knows that M&Ps probably have the best in the game, right? So I'm not really necessarily talking about the grip texture. I'm talking about the ergonomics and the way it can fit your specific hand, right? The way this just molds into your palm. That's probably something that this has over any other company. Over 27 different grip configurations. I mean, who do you know has that? I don't think I know anybody. You know, that can be even, you know, SIG, M&P, Ruger, you name it. Glock, definitely not Glock. Now, some things that I did go ahead and put on this piece, right? I know I'm going to probably get a lot of hate for it, but I don't really see the need for a lot of hate for it. I think they're good quality. I have here an Olight. This one is similar to the TLR1 size, and I think it's really good. This one's magnetic charging, so you don't need to swap out any batteries or anything like that, right? This is kind of like my budget build, right? I have a Swamp Fox. The Swamp Fox, it's a direct mount. You don't need any plates or anything like that. It goes with RMR, so you can pretty much put anything you want on this thing. Now for the compensator, it is a pretty good compensator actually, but it's just a little cheap compensator from eBay. But honestly, I feel like it worked better than I expected it to. And it was only like, I don't know, $30 some bucks. I can't remember off the top of my head exactly what it was, but you know, this is just obviously a red build I'm going for. Red sight, red comp, red trigger, red base plate. I could have gone on the way with the dot, but you know, green is what I got right there. So now cons, right? In this channel we talk transparency, so nobody really gets a pass, right? Just the way I said it with the Canik. I do mind it when front slide serrations don't go all the way to the top. And here I get it, right? Like they put duty here, but they could have just put it right here and then had these go all the way to the top. Now these in the back, they do go from the bottom all the way to the top. But for the front of the slide, they could have just put them all the way to the top, you know, for people that do press checks and things like that. You know, I am a serration snob, so that's something I gotta go ahead and knock down. Same with the Canik. The Canics are worse though. They fade. They make you think that you have something, but you really don't. This at least lets you know what you're working with and what you're not. Now, even though this is my budget build, right? If there's one thing that is in budget about this, let me go ahead and take this out. It's this this extended mag plate from Springer Precision, right? They're the SP Springer Precision. You know, these aren't cheap, and this is really good quality. Now, the mags that it comes with, they're actually meant to be for the SIG P226. So any SIG P226 mags will work on this. So they're compatible. They're the same. It does come flush with an 18 round mag or a 20 round mag. But I went ahead and put this one on because I wanted the red theme going on. So it's actually 21 plus 1 in the head. You're looking at 22 rounds right there. And you know, the mags, they are Medgar, which are some of the best. So I really do like the Medgar mags. They're metal, they're not plastic, anything like that. They're good quality. I really like that. Now, another thing that you get out of the box, right? I'm telling you guys, with the PX9 Gen 3, you get a lot of bang for your buck. And I'm not just saying that because I have one, right? Like, of course, other companies do offer some things of a higher quality, you know, such as, you know, internals, things like that. They're more durable, built to last. But I'm just talking about what you get out of the box, regardless of the durability. You do get a mag well. Now, that's something that you cannot get for a piece like this, at least at this price point. Who do you know includes a mag well in the box if it's not, you know, a good amount of money? I feel like that's something that, and you don't have to use the magwell too. You know, you don't have to use it if you're trying to carry this or something like that. But you know, if you're looking for like speed reloading, things like that, I really feel like that's an awesome thing that they did there. You know, not a lot of companies offer that. I just feel like you get so much bang out of your buck. And by the way, you can co-witness with the sights that it already comes with. It also has a loaded chamber indicator, and we're gonna go ahead and talk about this trigger, right? So the take up to the wall, it's really, hold up, let me wait for this thing to focus. It's really short. So here's the trigger safety, just right there. That's the wall. Really short, really crisp. Let's check out the reset. A little slower this time. Now the reset is not the best, right? But the initial part, before you hit that wall, it's so short that honestly, when you're shooting this piece pretty fast, it really feels like a beast. No need to upgrade it or anything like that. So what do I think about the PX9 Gen 3? I feel like this is a lot of bang for your buck, especially if you're on a budget, right? And even if you're not on a budget, right? Like let's say you had a good amount of funds in your account or whatever, this is a solid piece to pick up. You know, at least you can compare it to your other pieces or anything like that. I feel like you just get so much out of this. I don't see anybody going wrong with picking any of these up. You know, they also have different colors. They have like the, here you have the black, they have the FDE, I believe they have the OD green, and they just have so many different options, even aside from the colors, right? So this one is the duty model, and this one is the threaded version. So they do have a non-threaded duty version. That one's probably more ideal if you're trying to carry, right? But I just wanted the threaded barrel just in case, so I can hop up a comp or anything like that. Man, I gotta straighten this comp a little bit. But yeah, they have a lot of options. From my understanding, the PX9, the tactical ones, I believe all of those have to be threaded. I think they're all threaded. I don't think there's a non-threaded tactical version. But there is non-threaded duty versions, but I wanted the duty version, that way the slide wasn't too long. Later on, I do want something like a 5-inch barrel, but I was thinking maybe like an M&P for something like that. You know, those with the long slide, those are really cool, right? But for this one, I really wanted this this model, this configuration, just the way it is. And the barrel is a 4.69 inch barrel, which is pretty solid. And again, there's just so much that you get out of this box, especially for the price point that they come at. It's too good of a deal to not get, right? And I'm not just saying that. You know, you go ahead, compare what you can get this at the price point that they're offering compared to any other brand, what you can get. You know, you're not going to get the things that you get out of this box. You're not going to get these really good fiber optic sights. You're not going to get a really good trigger. You're probably not going to get a threaded barrel, and you're definitely not going to get a magwell. So just the fact that it comes with all of those combined, you know, it's really solid. I feel like there's a lot you can do with this. And you know, another thing to point out is that these sights are Glock compatible. So that pretty much means that you can do whatever you want with this thing. Put any sights in the world that you want. So that's pretty neat too. And P226 mags, they're all over the place. You can get them on SIG's website. You can get them everywhere online. They have the flush fit. They have the extended ones. They have everything like that, right? So, and this is from a Turkish company called Tisas, right? But I know SDS is like the one that imports them or something like that. But you know, you can go ahead and check out like range footage, testing, people trying to beat this gun up online. I feel like these things can run. Now, of course, I don't think anything in the world is more durable than an M&P, right? Even these $3,000-$4,000 guns, I don't think anybody has anything on the M&P. Those things are just absolute tanks. You know, you see these other reviews online where they freeze them, throw them in mud, do anything, and they're still running. It's insane, you know. But this thing can still run. You know, you put water on it, you put mud in it, it's still gonna go ahead and go bang. And this is, of course, chambered in 9mm. I mean, look at this thing. It looks awesome. The only thing is that I really wish that they could have put the slide serrations all the way to the top. But this is a really solid piece for what you're getting. And this is how it looks like with the slide back. From the top. Let's check out this side. And this is the PL3 Valkyrie, my Olight. So not bad. Also, here they have these texturing points on each side, but I usually like to use that for my support hand. I like when companies offer things like that because usually most don't, including a lot of the M&Ps actually, which is something that I wish that they did, but they don't. So again, guys, there's just so much that you get out of this piece. There's not a lot that can go wrong by getting this. Let me go ahead and focus this. I don't know why this thing is like that. There you go. And again, this is the Generation 3. Of course, all these upgrades and all that stuff, you can't really do it with the same freedom in the Zagana PX9 V1 or V2. But here on Gen 3, you can go ahead and do all these types of things. You know, this thing, it's for the price that you can get this thing, and I'm talking from $250 to $350. As crazy as that sounds. You know, Tisas, they're coming up, you know, to go ahead and compete in the Turkish market. And of course, who are the main competitors? It's gonna be Canik and SAR, right? SAR is a really good company. I know they also have some absolute units that can go over 100,000 rounds. Even though a lot of people don't believe it, it's true. And I feel like this one competes with those two main competitors for the Turkish market going into the American market. But obviously right now Canik has, you know, the top status from Turkey, you know, from those companies. But I feel like this is a solid competitor, and they're definitely coming in the game. Especially, once again, the price point that you get this at. Canik does offer all of these things. You know, they can offer a magwell, threaded barrels, things like that. But guess what? They're gonna be hundreds of dollars more. Not at this price range, at this price point. So once again, the Tisas PX9 Generation 3. Let me know what you guys think. Is this worth it? Is this not? Do you think it sucks? Or do you think that this is a solid, reliable piece for people who are on a budget and they can't really go wrong with picking this out? So let me know what you guys think. The pros, the cons, the good and the bad. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Shots with Jay. I appreciate it.